Hey everyone, I'm Jenny Hale. You're watching my Truth Bomb series, a series of short videos about relationships and advice that's problematic, why it's problematic and where the truth really lies. So today I'd like to talk about make-up sex. So there's a school of thought which has this picture of an ideal relationship being a really passionate relationship, kind of relationship where, you know, something happens, someone gets angry and they yell and they carry on, and then at some point the passion of the anger just turns into sexual passion, and then they have this ravishing, amazing, passionate sex, and then everything's okay. Now, it works in the movies. It doesn't work so much in real life. And even if you have the flaming row and the argument and then you go away and calm down and then you come back together and then you have the passionate make-up sex, which is a bit more common in the real world, it's still a problem. And the problem is that make-up sex doesn't actually restore what was broken. Now, in the moment, it might feel like it does. So early on in a relationship, when you're still in love with each other, and then something happens, one of you gets angry and you no, and then you get over it, you have sex, and it's like, everything's back to normal now. And it feels like the make-up sex fixed everything. In fact, my partner and I have a little saying of like, oh yeah, sex fixes everything. Because often it doesn't matter what emotional state you're in, when you have sex you get endorphins, it's a bit like heroin, everything's fine. However, if whatever it was you were arguing about, if that wasn't actually sorted out, if it wasn't resolved, it's going to happen again, and you're going to have an argument again. And maybe you could have make-up sex again. But ultimately, if you're having the same argument every week, eventually make-up sex is not going to cut it. At some point, you need to reach a resolution on whatever it is that you're arguing about. Now, there's a couple of things that could be going on. One is, one or both of you might actually be doing something that's inconsiderate or hurtful, or unethical, or crossing boundaries. You know, if your partner's going into your phone and reading the messages that you're sending to other people, for example, that's a violation of your privacy. It's a violation of your boundary. It's something that you would legitimately be angry about and want to change. Now, if every time you discover your partner doing that, you get really angry, then they get really angry, and then you have make-up sex, your partner's just going to do it again. And then you get really angry and they get really angry and you have make-up sex. At some point, you've got to ask yourself the question, how important is my privacy? Like, what am I going to do to make sure that this actually gets dealt with? Or maybe this person's just incapable of actually having an adult relationship. Maybe they need to sneak in and invade my privacy and monitor what I'm doing because of their childhood wounds, which they're not dealing with. And at that point you need to decide whether to walk away or not. No amount of make-up sex is going to keep you in a relationship where your fundamental human rights are being violated. Likewise, if what's happening is someone's childhood stuff is being triggered. So maybe, you know, maybe you had a bad childhood, maybe your mother was really unavailable, maybe she was an alcoholic, maybe she was just never there for you and you were looking after the younger ones all the time, and you feel inside a sense of insecurity and abandonment because no one ever really took care of you. So whenever your lover does something where it looks like they're being inconsiderate, looks like they might be abandoning you, maybe they want to go on a weekend, you know, hunting trip with their mates, or maybe they come home later than you expected, whatever it is, it sets off your childhood fear, your childhood loneliness, your childhood abandonment. And then you get really angry, and then they get really angry because it's really unfair because all they were doing was whatever, and then you have make-up sex. It doesn't fix your childhood trauma. It doesn't make you a more secure person. The make-up sex doesn't actually do anything except give you a shot of feel-good endorphins in the moment. Now, it might calm you down on that day, but the next day, when your partner doesn't come home at the time they said, you'll be off again. And another argument and another round of make-up sex. And the only way this is going to end is when you actually do your work. When you go and do therapy, you go and do some release work, you go and work with your body, do some somatic work, whatever it is for you, that's going to move that childhood trauma, that's going to give you a much better sense of safety in yourself. When you do that, then you won't get angry anymore. And instead of having make-up sex, you can have just crazy passionate sex. Because you don't have to have an angry argument in order to have passionate sex. You can have passionate sex every day of your life for the rest of your relationship if you take care of resolving conflicts as they occur.